What if I tell you that the entire universe, everything that you can see, feel, and touch, is a projection in you, the consciousness? What I'm saying is that the entire universe exists because of your will, because you will it to exist. Now, this might sound radical and this might sound strange, but this is the truth that is found in the ancient Tripura Rahasya, a 1,000-year-old revered text of Advaita Vedanta. In this video, we will go deep into the nature of reality to understand how the external world is simply a reflection of your internal states. We will understand how you can begin to literally shape your reality, literally shape the experiences that you go through in this world simply by controlling your internal states and transforming your internal reality. The Advaita channel is about consciousness and conscious creation. Here we explore Vedanta and various other spiritual teachings from ancient India to understand the nature of reality and to consciously create our lives. If you wonder why reality is one way for one person and it is another way for another person, why for one person the world seems to be favorable and whatever they do, it works out for them, and for why someone else, they seem to always struggle and suffer in this world. And if you have wondered about the nature of consciousness and the reality itself, the answers to all this you will find through this video. Part 1, let us understand the nature of reality. Now, the Tripura Rahasya says that the external world is simply a reflection of your internal states. Now, this on the surface level might sound similar to the personal development teachings, to the law of attraction and manifestation teachings that you might have heard from the modern teachers on this subject. But that's not it. What the ancient text is speaking here is very deep and very significant. It is not talking about how our thoughts create our reality, but it is saying that the reality literally exists because of you. It is saying that your reality is being literally controlled by your own will. According to this text, the reality is simply a mental image. Now, to delve deeper into this, I will read a few paragraphs from the translation of this ancient text, which is originally in Sanskrit. Now, I'll start reading from the 74th verse of chapter 14 of the Tripura Rahasya. The present creation is the mental product of Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, appointed creator by the will force of the primal being, Sri Tripura. The cognition, you and I, is the essence of any kind of creation. Such cognition is the manifestation of transcendental consciousness. There cannot be any difference, just as there is no difference in space bounded by a pot or not bounded by it. Basically, here the text is saying that the consciousness that you are cannot be different from the consciousness that I am, just like the space which is within a pot is not different from the space which is outside of the pot. The diversities in creation are solely due to the qualifications limiting the consciousness. These qualifications, example body, age, mind, etc., are the mental imagery of the creator consistent with the individual's past merits, that is karma. When the creative will force wears away, there is dissolution and complete undifferentiation results. As for your willpower, it is overpowered by the creators. When that impediment, Maya's veiling, is surmounted by the methods already mentioned, your willpower will also become effective. Time, space, gross creations, etc. appear in it according to the imagery of the agent. A certain period is only one day according to my calculation, whereas it is 12,000 years according to Brahma. The space covered by about 2 miles and a half of Brahma, he is infinite according to me and covers a whole universe. In this way, both are true and untrue at the same time. Similarly, also imagine a hill within you. Now, as I talk about this verse, begin to imagine this and try this experiment like the text is asking us to do. Imagine a hill within you and also time in a subtle sense. Then contemplate a whole creation in them. They will endure as long as your concentration endures, even to eternity for all practical purposes, if your willpower be strong enough. Therefore, I say that this world is a mere figment of imagination. It shines in the manifest conscious self within. Therefore, what looks like external world is really an image on the screen of the mind. Consciousness is thus the screen and the image. And so yogis are enabled to see long distances of space and realize long intervals of time. They can traverse all distance in a moment and can perceive everything as readily as a gooseberry in the hollow of one's palm. Therefore, recognize the fact that the world is simply an image on the mirror of consciousness and cultivate the contemplation of I am. Abide as pure being and thus give up this delusion of the reality of the world. Then you will become like myself, one in being, self sufficient. Dattatreya says this. Now we can understand this reality from two levels. At the fundamental level, I am the infinite consciousness within which the universe itself has appeared, and the universe itself is simply a figment of imagination of the creator. And secondly, from the point of view of the ego, which is the individual mind, the reality, the personal reality that we experience in terms of our life circumstances, in terms of our relationships, health, wealth, etc., this is because of the nature of our mind. This is because of the memory and thoughts that arise within our self. So at first, we can take control of our personal reality through the limited willpower of the mind and change our life to experience what we truly want to experience. And secondly, we can begin to transcend this mind and ego to recognize our true nature as the infinite. The deeper we go, the more power we hold over reality. And at the deepest level, we are infinite. We are one with God. In the second part, let us understand more about the nature of mind. So, the individual mind, the individual ego, as per the teachings of Vedanta, is simply a figment of imagination. It technically doesn't exist. Our mind, our thoughts, our ego, the person that we think we are, in reality doesn't exist. Ego is simply a bundle of thoughts. It is simply an activity in consciousness. But consciousness itself is the underlying reality beneath everything. So, consciousness is real, ego is fictional. Consciousness is real, this world is fictional or it is an appearance. Consciousness alone is, and all the appearances within consciousness are just that, appearances. So, this is what we need to grasp. The text goes on to say, space being the supporter of all and immanent in all, becomes manifest if only the attention is derived from the panorama. In the same way, consciousness is the supporter of all and is immanent in all and always remains perfect like space, pervading the mind also. Diversion of attention from other items is all that is necessary for self realization. There can be indeed no moment or spot from which consciousness is absent. Its absence means their absence also. Therefore, consciousness of self becomes manifest by mere diversion of attention from the things or thoughts. Here, the text is speaking about the nature of self realization and the nature of consciousness. It is saying that, like how the space pervades all and pervades everything, it is in everything, it is in and through everything, but it is unaffected by all these objects. Consciousness is within which the space itself exists. We can understand consciousness in this way. Of course, it is very difficult to comprehend consciousness with our finite minds, but this is an example through which we can understand the nature of consciousness. It is all there is technically, but this universe has appeared within it. And we right now, because of our identification with mind, are experiencing this reality in this way. Once we disidentify from our mind and once we purify the mind, make it clear, we recognize our true nature and we recognize the true nature of reality itself. We see the same being, the same consciousness everywhere and in everything. With this, let us come to part 3, where we will understand the nature of manifestation. The text goes in great detail about the manifestation of the universe, but we will focus on manifesting our lives the way we truly want to live by understanding these concepts within the text. I will go on to read few more verses of this text regarding manifestation. Again, Rama, a causal desire for emancipation is also vain. Such desire often manifests on learning of magnificence of the emancipated state. It is common to all beings, but never brings about any abiding results. Therefore, a passing desire is worthless. The desire must be strong and abiding in order that it may bear fruit. The effects are in proportion to the intensity and duration of the desire. The desire must be accompanied by efforts for accomplishment of the purpose. Then only will there be concreted effort. So the text here is emphasizing the power of desire and intention when it comes to manifesting the reality that we truly wish to experience. The text is saying that the desire must be strong and abiding, and it must be accompanied with efforts in order to see the fruits. And Tripura Rahasya goes deeper here. It suggests that true manifestation comes not just from desiring, but from aligning with our true nature. The text says, consummation lies in the discernment of the self as distinguished from the non-self. But the text also warns us against getting too caught up in manifesting specific outcomes or gaining supernatural powers. It states that these powers, such as flying in space, etc., are all fragmentary and not worth a particle of self-realization. For this is the unbroken and immortal bliss of the self in which all else is included. So this text is basically telling us that the ultimate goal of human life should be self-realization, where we go deep within and find the source of everything. Find that infinite consciousness, that Satchit Ananda, and that infinite bliss. And it says that any kind of manifestation externally is not permanent. That is why within our community we talk about holistic abundance. It is not about focusing on one particular outcome, one particular person, etc. This is not the right way to live. True spirituality is about embracing life for what it is. It is about going within and finding the source of abundance and fulfillment within us. This should be the goal to each and every one of us. Now, if you want to go deeper into these teachings and if you want to go deeper into conscious creation, then check out our free masterclass, The Conscious Creation Paradigm. Here we cover the 4 pillars of conscious creation and how we can implement this within our life to make it happen. Check out this video on Kenopanishad to understand the nature of consciousness in greater detail. And I will see you in the next one. Subscribe to Advaita to wake up. Shivoham.